Hello, and welcome to the Great Game Debate Podcast. You might be recognizing the Godfather himself as the host today. Our buddy Caden is he's out moving, so he's not able to host today. But the show must go on. As always, we have the saucy Aussie himself, Steven. How are you doing, man?
A bit rusty, mate. I had Knotfest Australia on Friday, and I'm still recovering because I'm over 30, and it takes a long time to recover now.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
And you heard,
I'm getting there.
You heard the man himself, Mateo. What's going on, man? How's Texas treating you?
I'm doing well, Jonah. I'm going to tell you something. I came up with some possible names for your buddy there with the crown.
Oh, okay.
I'll just list them. I've got John Crow.
Okay.
Got Edgar Allan Crow.
I like that one.
Ooh, I like that.
I've got the Caw King.
That's pretty good.
Got Nevermore, and I've got Russell.
Russell? Yeah.
Russ.
I like Russell too. Thank you. And as our special guest, we have the Av8or gamer himself, Dan the DM from our Discord community. How's it going, man?
Howdy. Going good.
Yeah. How's your weekend been?
It has been crazy. Very, very busy this weekend.
Yeah. Blasting some kids at some laser tag today, I saw.
Yeah, I went with I helped chaperone a group of like early junior high kids at a laser tag, a game place, but like they had laser tag, and yeah, I think I did almost double the number of points anybody else in the game.
Absolutely dominating.
But number 2 was my daughter, so I'm good. I'm yes.
A family of killers. Gotta love it.
That's right.
That just whenever I think about an adult just absolutely destroying the kids, is my mates and I went to those places that are just a whole bunch of trampolines.
Oh yeah.
And they,
no.
And they have like a little dodgeball dome.
Oh my god!
Yeah. And me and my mates, we had about four to six of us, I think. And we were in there going for it, and then some little kids get in, and it was my mate versus this tiny little kid, and we're just like, oh, send him, and he just launched. So we were just we were freaking taking the piss, and he's just freaking just smashed this kid with the almighty force. It was the worst thing I've seen in my life.
So did he hit the kid so hard that the kid fell over pretty hard? What? Or was the kid just oh?
Even though it's those really soft foam balls, it was heavy impact.
Wow.
He hit the kid so hard they had to add a line to their little waiver that you sign when you go in there.
You might get pelted in the face by an adult, just letting you know. All right, guys. I hope you went to Megaton for the Fat Man mini nuke launcher, because it's time for the icebreaker. All right, so we've got a couple icebreaker questions this week. From the community, and thank you everyone for submitting. We'll go through them all, but we're just gonna go off the top, starting with the classic man himself, Mecha or Wes Bates, old friend of the show. You have 2 uninterrupted weeks to play a video game, but you have to use it to play something from a backlog. No stand-ins like Fortnite or long ongoing games that you consistently play, and no replays. We just want to attack that backlog. So what game or games would you spend that 2 weeks playing? Mateo, I want to start with you.
Ooh. You know, there's a lot. There's so many games in my backlog because I'm so good at starting games and never finishing them.
Yeah.
I feel like I missed out on like a big spirit of like the past couple of years though by not playing Elden Ring to completion.
Oh, okay.
So that might honestly be the answer. I'm terrible at those games, so I'll need every single minute of those 2 weeks to
Yeah.
get through that one.
And like the nice thing that is a very good pick because the nice thing about Elden Ring is like me myself not a big fan of the Souls games, and I've said it time and time again on the show, but like that game is so great about if you just follow certain paths, it'll like just build you up slowly and over time, and then you'll be able to take over some of those harder bosses. And I didn't have to grind. Obviously, there's the option to grind, but I never really had to. I think I did one of the things where you go kill the big dragon in Caelid and get a free like 200,000 souls or something, and then leveled up that way. But like other than that, there was no real farming for me, which I feel proud of. I feel like I earned my gamer card with that one.
Because
that's impressive.
seeing as I played it so much, I did a lot of grinding.
I don't know what drew my attention away from Elden Ring at the time either. Honestly, like it just a buddy of mine was telling me, he's like, dude, he's like, you just need to put like one more hour into it and it would have gotten its hooks in you. Like you were just like right on the cusp of greatness.
Yeah, for sure. Steven, what you got?
That I definitely have two ideas. One is very similar in the fact that I only just started Sekiro.
Okay.
And so I just like I only beat like sort of one boss kind of thing. And then I got like the Mikiri counter and I got to use it a couple times. Like that's cool. And I put it down and then I just didn't pick it up again. And so and that's something where it's like I need dedicated time because of how I know how brutally hard that particular like being in that is supposedly the hardest Souls game like released. I definitely need time to do that. But the other one is another one where it's just so dense with systems that I feel like every time I've tried to dip my toes into it, it's just been so hard to get into. But I've heard it's amazing if you do peel back the layers, and that's Dragon's Dogma.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah, that one is super complex though, for sure.
Yeah, so it's like I'd need 2 weeks, and maybe I just get started in 2 weeks. But at the same time, it's like that's just that game where it's just like every time I've thought, oh, do I boot it back up again? I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like I 100% don't know what I'm doing, kind of thing in that game. So I definitely would. That would be a good amount of time.
That is a great pick. That is the game's got like this nice level of jank, but like just some of the things they do with that game because they get around darkness in that game because when it's nighttime, it's dark and you can't see past like the first couple rows of trees. And so my buddy, he's like, "Oh, I'll just turn up the brightness and then I'll be able to see everything." They have like a fog that's at night, so you can't even if you crank up that darkness, you can't see, and like you'll hear like the monsters creeping around in the darkness, and it's like, oh, this is kind of scary.
Oh, that's clever. That is a clever way to block that.
Yep.
Dan, what game or games would you be playing?
Well, that's a great question. So, right off the bat, the kind of the series that I thought of, and it's a series that I keep dipping my toes into, and I'm like, I really think I would love getting into this world, but I always just bounce off super hard. Is the Assassin's Creed series post Black Flag. Like Black Flag's the last Assassin's Creed series game that I actually finished. I've put a bunch of time into a couple of them since, but not much. And like every time, it's like I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm gonna get into this, you know. And it's like, nope. I just lose. It's either I lose the interest or I like go away and then don't come back. The other option, which may have some more popularity here, is the only Zelda game that I've actually played is Breath of the Wild. And so I would actually consider going back and trying out some of the older games, especially if there was like, I'm a bit of a graphics nerd, and so like if there was a like a remade or remastered version of some of those games, I'd be interested in that. Just to see, kind of what I missed growing up, in my sheltered childhood.
Yeah, okay, you heard it here, Nintendo, again,
Wind
time
Waker
and time again.
HD.
Wind Waker and Twilight Princess HD, bring them to the Switch so Dan can experience them for the first time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd be up for it.
Yeah, those are
Oh.
Good picks.
I have a hot take. Those are like two of my favorite of the Zelda series. A lot of people bash on both those games. Some people bash on Wind Waker because they were promised something that was closer to Twilight Princess and kind of like Ocarina of Time at the time. And I never understood it. I thought it was like its own thing and it was like super great. And then they listened to what people wanted and they came out with Twilight Princess and they're like, this is just a remake of Ocarina of Time. And it's like, what do you want, But I understand that the wolf parts can be kind of meh, but like I think they're great. I don't know. I think Wolflink's just super cool.
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild was honestly almost my answer because that game never grabbed me. It was so open and free that I couldn't figure out what the hell to do. Like I had no idea what to do in that game.
Like there wasn't enough of like a guiding line for you. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I could
It
understand
literally
that.
tells you to beat the game.
Yeah.
What more do you want?
Yeah.
Just beat it.
Yeah.
How annoying would that be? Just the one quest popped up on the game the entire
Win.
That's literally the first quest you get.
What?
Beat
Yeah,
game.
I love that. Yeah.
Nice.
That's awesome. Great answers all around. I think if I were Dan, your background's giving me some inspiration. I think I'd go back and try and do Horizon because I bounced off of it. I got past like the intro, and I know everyone's like, "Oh, that's the hardest part to get through." I mean, it was still like 5-10 hours, so I'd go back through and try it. What happened was it's like, "Oh, you get this quest to go out to the desert," and I was like, "Okay, well, start going." And then I'm walking and I've got pterodactyls flying down at me. I've got like triceratopses rushing me and I'm like, how do I win? This is going to be so freaking hard. And I was like, I'm done. And I just put it away to play something else.
Oh.
I'm sorry, Dan. I know Horizon's your baby, but like it
is my baby.
I
Yeah.
couldn't do it.
I also I've got to get back to 2 because again, the second intro isn't much quicker.
Oh, really?
I really want to get to the open world and get fighting some dinos because it really does not want me to do that right now.
Yeah, they're both pretty slow and opens.
It's always fun when a game doesn't let you, just play the game immediately.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's we're gonna do 2 questions, like I said, so we'll move on to the next one. This one's from Preston Wilkie of the Draft Punks, and he submitted this question: would you rather have a double jump or glide in real life? Dan, as our resident pilot, what would you pick?
I mean, obviously the glide in real life, that'd be so epic. I mean, it comes with multiple questions like, are you going to have like a limited amount of energy and that sort of thing, and how is this
Stamina
different
meter
than
pops
hang
up.
gliding? Yeah, like right, it's like, oh, here's my stamina meter. I guess jumping up the Sears Tower was a bad idea right now. But yeah, like I think that would be pretty epic.
Yeah, all right. Devo,
I pictured it kind of like Princess Peach, where she just, levitates.
Just kind of float. Oh,
yeah, that sounds good because I'm thinking if it's to do with my shoulder strength, like my shoulders are pretty knackered from like years
we're all dead.
carpentry and football and different things like that. So like, yeah, I don't want to like have to hang on to like any sort of like wind sail or anything like that for extended amounts of time. But like if I just have to wear a
dress,
a ball gown, and just to glide, I'm more than happy to do that. It'd be pretty awesome. Just
sign
take
me
a
up.
load off,
Sign me up right now.
Oh, there's Steven in his ball gown. You just start walking off a building.
Yeah.
Mateo, how are you feeling?
You know, I might have to go with the double jump, honestly.
Okay, I
I'm
think I'm
trying to
with you
think of
on that.
situation I'm trying to think of situations where a glide would be useful. And there's probably a lot, but it's the same reason that I wouldn't want to do that like that they do like those big orbs you can like roll down the hill in and all that fun stuff. You can do like the hill bowling and things.
Mm-hmm.
You have to walk back up to the top afterwards. It's the same problem with the glide.
Yep.
You're gonna glide down, no
Yeah.
problem. You're just gonna have to go walk all the way back up to where you got to. That's where you park your car. Is up the mountain. So yeah, double jump. How?
Yeah, I think mine would have to be the double jump. And Steven brought up a great point while we were going through the questions pre-show. He's like, would you still take fall damage with a double jump? And I was like, but you could just save your second jump till right as you're about to hit the ground, jump again, and you'll be fine. But as a homeowner, I think the double jump is the quality pick, because now I can double
Ooh.
jump onto my roof without having to worry about pulling out the ladder. Now I can go up there, clean the gutters. If I fall off, I'll just jump again so I don't take fall damage. Yeah,
That's a good choice.
I think
And
that
plus, some of the double jumps have like really good flair. Like, I don't know if it's like Jack and Daxter, but it's like the double jump is like a forward flip. Like, I always like the flaring too. So like,
Yeah,
you definitely get
that's
extra
true.
points. Like, whenever you have like a parent teacher interview, just this random cool dad that's just double jumping all over the place.
See, I hope it's like an actual video game double jump where like your first jump's already unrealistically high. Because if it's just like me personally doing a double jump, it's just gonna be like a 2-foot
You're
hop
still
and
gonna
then
need a
like
ladder for that second floor.
yeah, and then it's
Yeah.
gonna be like
And-
I'm only going 3 feet high instead of going 2 feet high.
yeah. Your vertical still isn't as high as an NBA player.
I'm double jumping, but I'm just barely able to touch the rim.
You just managed to get to the top shelf.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. All right. Well, with our icebreaker questions out of the way, let's learn a little bit about our resident DM Dan.
Oh dear.
What got you into DMing, Dan, and like Dungeons and Dragons? What brought you to it?
Oh boy. What got me into DMing? Probably like the lack of a DM with the time and the just the decision to let's do it. Let's play a game.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I also so I had listened to a couple of D&D podcasts and played a couple of games, and I had kind of gotten a feel for good DMs and experienced a couple DMs that I was like, wow, there's a couple things that I would do a little differently, not necessarily that they were bad. It was just I just felt like things would have worked better a little different in certain ways, and and so then I actually stumbled, funny enough, Horizon Zero Dawn, I'm that person. I stumbled across a resource on the internet where someone was putting some of the Horizon Zero Dawn monsters into D&D, and I was like,
Oh,
this is
that's
amazing.
cool.
I have to write a one shot that uses these monsters. Um, he's down Iron Danny on Patreon. So there you go. I think that's his name. So credit to him. It's not my idea whatsoever. But anyway, so I was like, I have to use these monsters. I have to put them into something. So I put them into a one shot, and I ran it a couple of times. Zach into the Zeech Pearson actually came over to my house because I live 15 minutes from him. He came over to my house with a couple other people and played it with me, and I was like, hey, this is kind of fun. And then there was a couple of little groups that kind of started, but nothing ever came of it. And then after playing for a year and a half with the Pearson brothers and Sal, in Divinity Original Sin 2. I was like, listen, I'll try to do a one shot on in D&D. And they were like, okay, let's try it. And like it just stuck. And I quickly realized that I actually really enjoy I enjoy playing, but I really enjoy being more involved in the whole process and like trying to help create an environment where like people can enjoy, like have fun, like tell a story cooperatively, but also just like kind of have fun together.
Yeah.
And like it wasn't so important to me to be able to like play a character and be like, the hero, but it was more important to me to like build a dynamic where people like were experiencing an adventure together that was interesting and challenging, but also like engaging and something they could come back to regularly. So that's kind of how it happened, I guess.
Yeah,
That's pretty rad.
Nice.
it's awesome, and I'll let you guys know right now. Dan had I play in Dan's games, and he is a fantastic DM. He kills it every weekend. There's there's one character that he brought in to the module that we're currently playing, and she's always just kind of had like this mystery around her, and we don't know where she came from or why she was so interested uh in us. But we've been playing uh this this module for what, like,
We started in like September.
yeah, so almost 6 months. We've been playing this module
Oh,
for almost 6 months. And a couple sessions ago, Dan just drops, like, she comes and rescues the entire party from almost a total player kill, and she's a dragon. And we're like, what? And so I was asking Dan, like after the fact, I was like, is this a character in the module? And I mean, Dan can explain. Like,
She's not, but I did. Um, I wrote her into the story. She is from session one. She was one of the characters at the very very beginning. But after the first session, was looking through the different NPCs that had, like kind of escaped with the party, and I was like, well, it'd be different ones had different personalities, but this one kind of just stuck out to me. I was like, I'll put her in the like I'll try to like have her follow along with them. And very quickly, like as I was thinking about the module, I was like, um, uh, different types of dragons have different abilities. A crystal dragon has the ability to actually transform itself into human form, and it's also incredibly curious about like everything. And I was like, this is perfect. And, what appears to be a young, impressionable, like really interested in like experiencing the world young woman is actually a crystalline dragon like a crystal dragon who's like just doing, exploring her world. And I was like, this is perfect. And then, and so I've had that kind of like sitting in the back waiting for that to be revealed. And she's done a couple of things where it's like there's no way her character should be able to do this, but like, I was like, well, what's going on here? I'm like, all right, let's go keep playing. So yeah, it's pretty fun. And that's the fun part with D&D is you can like put stuff in, and some of those things like never, like every once in a while some of those things just like never come out, but sometimes it comes out, and it really pays off when it does. It's pretty fun.
yeah, it was
Nice.
it was fantastic. And Dan, thank you so much for putting in all the hard work you do for our
Absolutely.
DM group or our D&D group. We really
Yep.
appreciate it.
And Jonah,
Yes.
you need to review that contract.
Oh, okay. I will
You need to
review that contract.
remember about that.
Yeah.
That's going to be a thing. Or
uh,
you may not make it a thing, but yeah.
we'll see. We'll see. Mateo or Steven, you guys got any questions for Dan?
Sorry, go Mateo.
yeah. Where do you fall on, like, like there's like a spectrum of DMs, right? Like there's all kinds of different styles, and I know some DMs are very focused on like these are the rules. We're opening the player handbook, the dungeon master's guide every 5 minutes because we're going strictly by Guy Gax's code, right? Where do you fall on that particular spectrum?
So I try to stick fairly closely to the rules for the most part. I'm willing to try different homebrew rules. The catch is when you start diverting too far, then things can get really crazy. I'm also running a group for 7 players, and which is a really large group. And if I start,
Sure.
making exceptions in a bunch of different ways, then excuse me, it becomes like, well, I made an exception for this person in this area, and then I can't keep track of it. Like I just can't keep track of all the exceptions. But when it comes to like an actual moment, like rule of cool really does play a big deal because players like nothing kills a player's enjoyment more than being like, no, you can't do that because the rules say you can't. But yeah, you can roll for that and we'll see what happens. And if it happens, like nothing feels better for the player to be like, yeah, I just did this crazy thing, and it's like, yep, we'll just do it, but sometimes you do have to be the buzzkill because you can't just be like, no, you don't have a nuclear detonator in your pocket. Sorry.
So even with a natural 20 athletics roll, I'm not going to jump 200 feet in the air, is what you're saying?
No. I did sit through, so I did go to an Adventurers League one time, and I never went back, and it was exclusively because a player, like a DM, would not tell a player, no, these are the rules, and please stop, you're ruining it for everybody else. And so there is a balance there. They wanted to talk about like I can't remember what whiskey it was, but they wanted a very specific kind of real world whiskey that they could buy from the store so they could make themselves a Molotov, or maybe it wasn't a whiskey, but like a really high, like expensive, fancy alcohol, so they could make their own Molotov cocktails. And the DM's like, well, they have Alchemist Fire, which is essentially a Molotov cocktail. You could buy that and it's 5 gold, but if you really, really want this alcohol, it's going to be like 100 gold, and you don't have that. So, and the guy's like, well, yeah, but I want this. And it's like, oh, come on, just tell him that doesn't exist in this universe. So there's 100%, there's got to be a balance where you have to be able to say no, just to make it, like I said, more enjoyable for the entire group. But if the whole group's like, no, seriously, give him the alcohol, like just do it,
Let him
it's a
waste
thing,
it. Let him waste his character's
yeah,
gold.
yeah. But you also remember, like, again, like it kind of comes down to, as the DM, you're trying to make an experience that is enjoyable for everyone, and so you really need to make sure that you're balancing that out. And if your people are just kind of checking out or like totally annoyed with exceptions you're making, you need to be careful with that.
Yeah. Steven, you had a question on deck.
Yeah, mine's I'm always interested about like where like the sort of the lead in to D&D is. So did you play any tabletop board games before getting into D&D, or was it just like you'd heard about D&D and were just like, yeah, I'm ready to go all in? Or
so I knew from a very young age that D&D is a gateway to the occult and Satanism.
That's true.
So there you go. I grew up in a very conservative Christian home, and like, yeah, D&D was like out of the question. No way. This is satanic. Advanced, the clock 20 years. I'm 42, so there's enough time in my life to actually do that. But I was very active listening to a lot of the stuff that the Easy Allies would produce, and they had a D&D podcast, and I was bored, some one day. I was like, I'll just listen to it. I know these guys, just kind of like by proximity. I've met one, I actually knew one of them in person from before their Easy Allies days, and I was like, I know that they're probably not doing that, so I'm going to listen and see what this is all about. And I realized, like, pretty quickly, they're just rolling dice and goofing off. They might be eating a little bit too much in the way of chips, and they might be drinking a little bit too much in the way of alcohol, but they're just having fun. Like, it's literally just a group of guys following a set of rules to do a creative, group storytelling. And I was like, okay, that's maybe not so bad. And then I had some friends who were playing, and I was like, I'll try it out. And then it was like, oh, this is actually pretty fun. And I always have had a really active imagination. Like I would tell myself stories to help myself go to sleep when I was really little. and they were weird.
wow.
But like I would try to make up stories, and and so like telling stories was like a very normal thing for me. So I was like, this is I could try this out, and then like I said, I played a few games and I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. So yeah, that's kind
Nice.
of how I got into D&D.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
sweet.
I just love how so many people have different ways of getting into D&D. It uh Dan, I didn't know. That's so sad. I'm sorry you had to tell yourself stories to go to bed.
Well, I wasn't allowed to read after a certain night a
Okay.
time, and so I mean, I totally did the blankets over the head and the flashlight and the Hardy Boys
Classic.
book, and mom and dad have no idea I'm reading late. And now, as a parent of an 11-year-old, I'm like, they totally knew I was reading.
Yeah. I
Have
can
you
see
played
the
around with
light
any?
of your DS underneath your bed. No, it's closed. I'm not playing, Mom.
Have you played around with any other systems? Have you been primarily stuck to like D&D?
D&D was the easiest entry point. I started kind of after D&D Beyond was a thing, and that
Mhm.
made it like really
For,
easy to because I was not going to be digging through a stack of books this tall to learn how to build a character. Yeah, forget it.
mhm.
D&D made it really easy to make a character and start playing, and I was like, okay. Or D&D Beyond made it really easy to make a character and start playing. I have looked a little bit at other systems, particularly Pathfinder.
Mhm.
Um, and I think it would be fun, but I don't want to dig through books. Like I'm too lazy for that.
Yeah.
So like as I know there are tools that are in process for helping Pathfinder have something very similar to D&D Beyond to kind of like help with character creation and gameplay and all that. And like I'd be totally down with checking it out, playing some games like that. Maybe DMing eventually, who knows? But right now, like D&D is just really accessible thanks to D&D Beyond,
Yeah.
and that's
That
where
makes
I'm at.
sense.
That's sweet.
I just
Yeah,
kind
I've
of
been
wanted. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, I've been looking into man, kids on bikes look super cool. And I heard about this weird system. I think it's called like the Dread system or something like that, where it's made for like one-shot adventures.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Huh.
And they use a Jenga tower, and you do pulls from the Jenga tower for any time you're doing an action instead of doing like an ability roll.
Huh.
Interesting. That's
It seems
neat.
wild. It seems so fun, but
That's
yeah,
Oh,
super
that's
weird.
cool. Okay.
That's weird.
That's
Huh.
that's super cool.
I think it's called the Dread system. I'm not positive, but I know there's a system that uses a Jenga tower, which is just so
No,
wild.
that is God, that really puts on the pressure because you're eventually gonna knock it over. Oh man.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's
Huh.
super fun to think about. I wanted to change gears a little bit. Dan, you are a pilot. You fly planes for a living.
I do. Hmm.
How does that like really affect your gaming, your gamer lifestyle?
That actually has a pretty significant impact. So, I have been a gaming laptop person for quite a while.
Hmm.
I
Mhm.
did build a PC a few I guess it's been almost 7 years ago now. And that was really fun, and I really like being like I'm very much a PC gamer. Um, but like I absolutely have to play from a laptop as I travel, and that makes it so that like it's a little bit harder to have like a really enjoyable experience playing anything on a 15-inch screen, you
Mhm.
know. And I would love to eventually get my hands on like a Steam Deck or something like that. I've taken a Switch with me. At one point, I was actually packing my PlayStation 4 in my suitcase and like trying to plug it into hotel TVs and getting it to talk to them and uh, but yeah, it is interesting because I do find I have a fair amount of downtime at different times in the like especially in hotels. So that actually also implies so Jonah and I play a fair bit of Fortnite together lately, and that's really hard when I'm traveling, because it's like, okay, I'm on my laptop in the hotel room, and like I'm barely making 60 frames per second, and I'm like lagging a bunch, and so it's like, yay, Fortnite, this sucks. Yeah, some 12-year-old in Missouri just took me out because I was lagging. But yeah, so it does impact that. And then when I come home, like I'm actually right now I'm still using the same laptop, but I've got like a cooling pad and it's plugged into a screen, and like it's a little bit more of a gaming station. Um, and my daughter is using my my actual desktop PC to play like Minecraft. It's like, oh great, and my 2070 is really getting put to good use. Thanks. So we.
Hey, she can
Does
slap
the
But yeah,
plane
the ray tracing mod on there, so it looks great.
yeah, no.
now,
Um,
now does the plane that you fly have like RGB out? Is it full gamer mode out?
no, yeah. Okay, so funny story about that. Obviously, when I am flying, to be clear, I do not play video games. Like that's out of the question. Like that is a major no-no. So in case Mr. FAA is watching, I do not do that. It did happen one time that I was riding. I was a passenger in the back, and so like, and I fly private business jets. So we take off. We're climbing out, and I'm like, I know what to do. I flipped out my like my little table, and like in private business jets, we're not talking like a tray table. We're talking about a table like this, a big, like, so I folded out the table and I got out my laptop and my mouse and my, and all that, and I set it up and I got plugged in and I turned on Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 and I flew a jet along the same route. I even had my joystick with me at the time. Flew a jet along the exact same route that we were flying in the actual plane, and I like took pictures. I'm like, look, I'm flying. So yeah, I did that.
That's
But
That's
awesome.
amazing.
they won, unfortunately. I didn't actually beat them. I was like, oh, I'm gonna try to beat them. No, they totally beat me. But yeah.
That's awesome.
But that was Scottsdale to San Francisco, just in case you're wondering.
Oh, okay. Steve-O or Mate, did you guys have any more questions for Mr. Dan?
Did did you have was there also like a slow adaptation of like video games? But like I'm assuming if your parents were strict about like D&D because that's occult and satanic, was there the same reaction to video games in your life?
Yeah, yeah. Like so like I was mentioning before we started recording, like I never played like I didn't play video games really growing up. I really wanted to. Like we went over to a friend's house and they like played around with like I got to play Duck Hunt and I loved it. And then we got to play a little bit of Super Mario and on it was on their I think it was their SNES and no, it was their Nintendo, it had to have been their
Yeah, it would have
Nintendo
been
64.
the original
Um
Nintendo if you're playing Duck
The
Hunt.
original?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay. I think they had both, but we're doing that thing and
yeah.
like sticking the
Hmm.
cartridge in and um but yeah, so I did do that, and then we like I know that my mom like there was a couple times where we would like watch people's pets and we would get permission to use their gaming console while they were gone, and like so then we would go play a game and we'd like try to figure out how to play whatever, and we were always super lost. We couldn't figure it out most of the time. But it wasn't until like we didn't even have a TV till I was 12, and then
Wow.
I got a PC. Like we got a family PC in late junior high, I think, and I got Microsoft Flight Simulator. Must have been 95, and put it on, and like I did a lot of that. But yeah, like my more broad gaming experience really didn't start till in college when I had a bunch of friends who were trying out uh Rainbow Six, I think it was, and I was
Oh,
like,
okay.
what's this? And
Nice.
I put it on my computer and I'm like, oh, I think I can figure this out. And then we started doing Ghost Recon Land Nights, and then it was all over.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's great. Oh, man. Original Rainbow Six. I loved how tactical those games were. I mean,
They
Siege is
were
good.
cool.
Siege is good and all, but like it's got nothing on like those
Hmm.
those old games. Just like the scenarios that they'd put you in were
Yep.
super intense and awesome. Excellent. Well, now that we're all warmed up and the ice has been broken, I'm going to pass it back over to myself for the debate. Welcome back. It's time for the debate. And this week we're tackling our Discord community's tournament bracket that we've had going on for most of March, which has been the beefiest beefcake, the strongest person, the the most yoked folk of the bunch of video game characters.
Nice.
Today we have our top 2 that the community has voted on, and I'm a little surprised, honestly. I thought, I mean, he did make it to the quarterfinals, but I thought we would see Chris Redfield up here at the top, the boulder puncher himself, but he lost to Zangeif, right? Or no, he lost to Barrett, right? And then yeah. Barrett from Final Fantasy VII, and who lost to Zangeif. But representing Zangeif is Dan versus Steven representing Loux or Godfrey from Elden Ring. Now,
hell yeah.
This is a battle of sheer mass and muscle, and I wanna see if you guys have what it takes for this great gains debate.
Yes.
I was waiting for the original typo that set this all off.
Yeah, Stephen is talking about a typo that I had made in chat, which was, instead of typing in the great game debate, I accidentally wrote the great gains debate, and I'll never live it down because it's going to be part of this here episode of the podcast.
We got a title already, dude.
Yeah, we got the title already. The Great Gains Debate. Anyway, each contestant will have their 2-minute opener, their 2-minute rebuttal, and their 2-minute closer, with Mateo being the assist trophy on this episode. Again, don't worry about having to use the full 2 minutes, guys. You can cut it short if need be. Dan, as our guest, would you like to start or close the debate today?
I'm gonna close.
You're gonna close. All right. Steven, you've got 2 minutes on the clock. Are you ready, sir?
Yes, I am ready.
All right. 3, 2, 1, debate.
So, there's something very special about Horah or Godfrey. He's such a swole, amazing, impeccable specimen that he defeated absolutely everyone in the lands between, to the point where he just left because there was no one left to face. And so not only is he this amazing specimen, he doesn't even show off unless there is a suitable opponent that is worth giving his all to. And like, when you finally reach him as the not, it's not the chosen undead, I'm thinking of Dark Souls, but the tarnished that has finally, collected all of the necessary pieces to fight him. He is brought back, and he's finally, he is returned by those signs of grace, and it's pretty amazing. I only just found this out, but he's holding Morgoth's body, his son's body, and it points Godfrey to the Tarnished. That is his quest, to take him down. And so, first of all, he just shows his absolute raw strength by holding just the biggest axe and just tearing it into the ground. And on retrieving it, he can just completely rend the ground. So, like, don't worry about Chris Redfield. This dude does more than just punch boulders. He just lifts the earth itself. And following that, he also has a massive lion spirit that is sucking his power out, and I'll get more into it in the closing, but he's a beast. We haven't even got to Horah.
All right, Dan. That was Steven's opener. How are you feeling for your opening statement?
I'm intimidated because I'm afraid I don't know nearly as much about Zangeif as Steven has demonstrated, but we will do our best.
All right, you got 2 minutes on the clock. 3, 2, 1, debate.
Zangeif is our patriot, but he's not our patriot. He's the patriot from the USSR. Appearing in 1991, Zangeif is the embodiment of the strength of an empire. He is built, he is muscular, he is a beefy dude who does not need to be ashamed of his body, and so he runs around in his tidy red pants. And his boots. And we all have to admit that all of us, and especially some of us, Jonah, are very, very jealous of his chest hair and his chin hair. But, I mean, if you're going to show off that body, I mean, you might as well show off the whole body. He's muscle from head to toe, and he's absolutely the man to beat when it comes to grappling. Zangeif relies heavily on his grapple attacks, so much so that my understanding is he does not have any ranged attacks in Street Fighter because he doesn't need them. Ooh. He can get in close and he can make and get things done by just simply grabbing hold and holding people down. Zangeif is he's also something of a man out of time in that he continues to be from the USSR long after the USSR
30
doesn't
seconds.
even exist. But that doesn't bother him, and he is a focused bodybuilder who is completely undistracted. He loves his body, he loves his vodka, and he loves his borscht, and those are the things that he loves, as well as fighting for his country. And who can't love a patriot like that?
Very nice, Dan. What an opener. You said you were all nervous and stuff. You killed it, man. That was awesome. I love that. I know a lot more about Zangeif now, too. I really didn't know a whole lot about his character. All right, Steven. Now it's time to face these two against one another in the rebuttal. Are you ready, sir?
Yes, I am.
3, 2, 1, debate.
So, I guess, like, the biggest thing to realize about Zangeif is, unfortunately, he's just a man, whereas Godfrey is a god. They both have very similar moves. Horah, Loux, and Zangeif both have a lot of similarities in their grappling moves. And I'm actually, because it's a little bit of behind the scenes, I'm gonna pop Mateo just to give one little like little bit of a factoid about one of their moves. So I'll pop it over to Mateo right quick.
All right, Mateo, 3, 2, 1, go.
So I was doing some very bad math before we started recording this one, and I will tell you that by my estimation, Horah Loux is able to jump in full gear, holding that massive axe that Stephen was talking about, at least about like 45 feet in the air during your battle
seconds.
with it, which is impressive. That man must have just the most godliest like thighs and leg muscles in the world to be able to get that kind of distance. He stomps and the ground jumps up with every stomp that he takes.
Time, Steven. Go back at it.
Not only, and that's the thing. Like, look, I respect the grind of Zangeif. You know, he's got a lot of battle scars to show what he's been going through. But when I think about like the most swole, like this is like a bit of a testosterone debate. This is a masculinity debate, and like there's something about the pirouette that the Red Tornado does that just doesn't quite give me a sense of fear. It's sort of like, oh, what a graceful swan that Zangeif is. Whereas Horah Loux, once he removes his, like, you know, his weighted training gear, which is his
30 seconds.
lion, it's just raw energy, power, and, like, brutal strength. And, like, he's completely covered in the blood of his lion. There is nothing nice about Godfrey. He's just all strength. I'm gonna finish that.
All right, leaving 5 seconds on the table. Dan,
All right.
you've got 2 minutes on the clock. 3, 2, 1, debate.
Okay, so you talk a little bit about how Horah Loux doesn't feel a need to show off unless there's a suitable opponent. But I find it interesting that he does show up, and in fact he comes out for the Tarnished, just a lowly player character that you've been building over how many hours of gameplay, and yet that is the threat in the lands between the player
A naked
character.
guy with a pot on his head.
A naked guy with a pot on his head. That's what draws him out. And, you know, if we're going to start talking about, you know, it being a masculinity debate, which I think this is a musculature debate, but okay. You know, he was the consort of Marika at one point, but he's not anymore. I mean, what happened there? He wasn't able to keep her interested or something, you know, just kind of throwing it out there. Also, he shows up with like his dead son's body. Come on now, if you're that powerful, why can't you keep your family alive? Like, you know, show up for your family here. I mean, let's have some real masculinity, you know. But anyhow, so yeah. I mean, okay, yeah, sure, he can jump around. He's got some muscles. He can
30
swing
seconds.
a big axe. But you know, in the end, we know that when it comes down to it, what really counts is looking good in those tight red pants. And I'm gonna have my assist trophy here as well.
All right.
Perfect.
You'll have 20 seconds or 15 seconds afterwards.
Okay.
Mateo, go ahead.
Let's talk about being not just being a muscular man, but also being a classy man that wants to build up strength in other people. Because while Zangeif is a little boastful, one of his lines is, "My iron body is invincible," which might not necessarily be true, because if you lose the fight, you definitely see him get beaten up in some of those. But here's a Zangeif quote that I love. "It is not too late to build your body. Strengthen those triceps." The man has positivity and muscles combined. He wants to build up his opponents as well.
Time. Excellent. You got 15 seconds, man.
I'm not sure how I can top that. You know, positivity and like inspiring others. That is true strength.
Time. Oh man, I was so unsure about how this debate was gonna go, and it's just been it's so fun. This is such a fun one. All right,
Yeah,
Steven.
we all found out that Zangeif is a himbo.
We got 2 minutes for the round 3 closing thoughts, Steven. 3,
Yep.
2, 1, debate.
Let's finally remove this weighted training and reveal Horah Loux for who he is. Just like 76 pack, freaking every single muscle under the sun is absolutely flexed and just rippling, and all he wants to do is give you a hug. And like, and again, like, yeah, if we're talking about like, you know, positivity, and like, everyone wants a hug, everyone wants that reassurance. It's just that like, when freaking Horah Loux grabs you, yeah, he throws you like 30 feet in the air, and then he just pounds you back to the earth. But my god, it looks amazing while he's doing it. And not only that, like, it again, like, just showing that like he was just restraining himself with everything that was weighing him down, was just completely restraining himself. He goes from smashing his axe into the ground and like ripping up like a section of the earth. Once he is completely unarmed and just a full bruiser, he can just completely just destroy the earth like he's a Dragon Ball Z villain. He just comes down with like a double axe handle and just completely just destroys the earth. It's phenomenal. And it just shows how much stronger he is than his sons, like Godric, who again has to use an axe to do something similar. Like
30 seconds.
He could just use his just fists alone, and it's just one of the most intimidating fights transitions, going from section 1 to section 2. So like, just the fear alone of how strong he is, because every time he does grab you, it is just like, this could just end me completely. And so that's why I rep Horah Loux, because he's just so intimidating and strong.
Time. Nicely done, Steven. Very nice.
I like that.
That was a really good closer.
It was well put together. I like that you had like everything tied together.
Yeah. All right, Dan, let's close out this debate. You got 2 minutes on the clock. 3,
All right.
2, 1, debate.
Okay, I would like to point out when Street Fighter 2 was being developed, according to this Wikipedia article, which apparently needs some citation, they put a Street Fighter 2 machine in a Tokyo arcade, and one unknown player became so good at Zangeif that he won 85 games in a row, to the point that no one else would even try to play against him if he was at the cabinet, because they knew he would play Zangeif and he would win. The creator of Street Fighter 2, Yoshiki Okamoto, I'm probably butchering his name.
That was actually pretty good.
Said, regardless of how much we balanced Zangeif in-house, this one Zangeif expert would win all the time. It's your fault, whoever you are, that Zangeif has always been a specialty character. That one player made it so that Zangeif had to be nerfed completely. But that's, this is Street Fighter 2. I want to point out again, Zangeif came out in 1991, 32 years, almost 32 years ago, and we're still talking about him. He is the icon of muscles, of beefiness, of the swollest of the swole in video gaming for 30 years. You put up a picture of Zangeif and people know that's the muscle man Zangeif. He might not be the one who can control the most, but everyone knows him. And so, like, while Horah Loux might be a god, he's not 30 years well known. And I'd like to end with this quote from Zangeif from one of my favorite movies, Wreck-It Ralph, which is, you might be, just because you're a bad guy doesn't mean you're a bad guy. And there you go. Positivity.
Time. Playing the positivity card again right at the end. Pulling out the Wreck-It Ralph card at the end. I love it. Mateo, as our assist trophy, let's get your vote, man.
Oh, man. I might have to go for the tight red pants. I might have to go for the red cyclone, the red tornado.
Yeah.
I think I've got to go for him. I appreciate that both competitors, obviously on some kind of performance enhancing drugs.
Yes.
There's something going on with both of them. So I appreciate that we could take that completely out of the equation. I didn't have to worry about is the Elden Lord power. It doesn't matter. they're both doing performance enhancing stuff. I got to go Zangeif though.
Yeah. You know what, Steven? You brought some serious heat. You brought so much storytelling and relaying all the lore of Horah Loux and Godfrey, and I remember fighting him multiple times playing Elden Ring, and you're right, he does just pick up chunks of the ground and absolutely hurls them like a legend. He's trying to kill me, where Zangeif, he'll knock you out and pick you up and be like, good game. You know, I gotta put my vote towards Zangeif because he is just a bro at the end of the day.
Nice. Hell yeah.
It's Oh, sorry, go.
No, I was just gonna say it was very, very well not organized, but the fact that Mateo's like hit Himbo talk and then you quote at the end, like just they both paired so well together. Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, his original character name was going to be Vodka Gabalski,
Nice.
but they changed it. Thank you.
Oh man, Zangeif's so much better though.
Right. Right.
If you would like to vote for this debate yourself, you can vote in the Cast Your Votes channel on the Great Game Debate Discord. But let's go back to our last debate, where it was Super Mario 3 versus Super Mario World.
Can I just interrupt real quick?
Yes.
Steven, your debate was incredible. I learned so much about Horah, and I'm kind of like, okay, I missed so much of that game. That was amazing. Well done.
Oh, thank you. Cheers.
That's fantastic.
We had my buddy Jake Bashley representing Super Mario Bros. 3 versus Mateo representing Super Mario World. Bringing it home with 2 points. 1 point. Sorry. Bringing it home with 1 point. On the cusp. Mateo, you won.
Ooh, I'm on a winning streak.
You are
Someone
on a
update-
winning streak.
Someone update the Great Game Debate wiki.
Undefeated.
And that's been the debate, and we'll see you in the pitch. Welcome back to the pitch, where two of our panelists will pitch some games that we have to either buy or pass on. And today we'll have Dan and Mateo pitching games. Mateo, I think I'm going to start with you. You've got 2 minutes on the clock, sir. 3, 2, 1, pitch.
First off, I just want to say, Jonah, great intro to the section. You always nail it every single time.
First time, every time.
So I feel like I'm always pitching these early access games, and this one is another early access game. So if there's some things that are missing, like if you want a bunch of classes to play in this game, they're not there. You want a bunch of boss variety, enemy variety, it's not there yet. We believe in hope when it comes to early access games. What I bring to you today is, let's call it a money management game. You go through this game and you're trying to figure out where you should spend your money, where you should hold on to your money. You know, there's a lot of chaos in this game. Every run is different. It might be the most random roguelite that I've played, in that every run is different and the entire game is based on this idea of chaos. You're not going to be able to predict exactly what's going on. There's a lot of physics in the game. It's kind of a physics-based. We could call it a puzzle game. We could call it a money management game. There's a few different ways we could go about it describing this one. This game is for people that maybe they like to be a little goblin. You never know. You ever thought about being on the flip side of your normal dungeon crawling and being like a little goblin guy? This might just be the game for you.
30 seconds.
This is a game for people that just want to really experience a roguelite. It's a unique roguelite experience that I don't think that I've had with any other game. It's just such a weird mix of different features together. You're dungeon diving, you're exploring, you're deciding how to spend your money, and honestly, at the end of the day, you're just if you think you might be into this game, you just need to decide if you want to just grab some balls and give it a go.
I'm sorry, I did not give you the 30-second warning. I know exactly what game this is, and it's kind of funny I know exactly what game this is, and it's funny that Dan had mentioned Peggle.
Absolutely.
Oh no. Oh no.
I have no idea. That's
I've actually played the demo of this game, and it is charming. It is so hard. It is a very challenging game. But
Absolutely.
you know what? I'm in. I'll throw some bones down on it. I'll throw my ball into the court.
Right off the bat, I heard money management, and I'm like, okay, maybe. And then I heard roguelite, and I was like, no, because I'm not into roguelites. But then you were like, you're a goblin in a dungeon. You're like flipping the script, and I was like, okay, I'm there. I like this idea. I was kind of on the fence, and then you were like, grab some balls and play, and I was like, what? So I'm totally lost. I have no idea what this is.
Dan, just grab your balls and buy in.
Yeah, and buy in.
Yes.
I'm gonna say I'm pretty on the fence, so I'm gonna just play it cautious and say I'm out.
Okay, Dan's out. Steven, where are you sitting with ball goblins?
I did want to hear about, like, is there anything, like, because you said it was a completely random rogue, and it's like,
Oh yeah.
so can you learn any skills? Like, as in, like, will you get better?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, for sure. But like, it's still a hard game. Jonah's right. It's an incredibly hard game.
To me, this sounds like a pachinko machine. Like 100, like, and I remember going in
I'm thinking like
and playing pachinko, and it was like the worst experience ever. Like, I was like, how deprived they are because they're not allowed to gamble in Japan, that they actually sit here and play this crap. So for that reason, I'm out.
It is the game is Peglin, and it is a mixture of Peggle and a roguelite.
What?
Yeah, you play as a goblin, and you do attacks based on how well you play the pachinko machine, essentially.
Yeah, you just throw little balls down, and you're just playing pachinko to fight bosses and enemies and things.
Oh man.
You really need to try the game to experience it. There is a demo on Steam, and it is brilliant. It is really fun. Yeah.
I just need them to add more content. That's the only thing that the game is lacking. I still go through and play. I play probably once a day, honestly. Like, I'll put on a YouTube video on my other screen, and do one quick run.
So, are you buying the pachinko balls, or are you buying gear? Like, what's
you're buying balls. That's where the deck building aspect comes out, and you can remove balls from your deck. You can add them in.
Balls have different abilities and
stuff.
Yeah,
exactly.
Right. Wow. Okay, that's interesting. Actually, that is definitely piques my interest a little bit more than just being like every ball's identical and
you do aim them. Like, it's definitely got like the Peggle aiming system, so you're not just like dropping them down the hatch and hoping something good happens.
Yeah,
we're not trying to Konami you here.
All right. I played someone with like a hand. It was like a trigger handle, and I was just like, to shut the balls, and like they went down the drain in like 10 seconds, and I was like, oh, and that's it. I could just put more money in, and that was like, I was thinking like I'd at least play long enough to feel like it was like a pinball machine, and pachinko is not a pinball machine.
No, it is not.
It's funny.
All right, well,
I looked it up real quick, and I might give it a try.
Okay. What is that? A post buy?
Well, it's like after he started talking about it, I was like, oh, okay, and I looked it up and I was like, if I get bored.
All right. All right, with that out of the way, we'll get onto our second pitch, which is Mr. Dan. You've got 2 minutes on the clock.
Okay.
2, 1, pitch.
All right, so this is a modified RPG light. You do play as you do play a bit of a role. There are quests to go on. You can build a base. You can gather companions of sorts. You can send them out on quests to do things, gather resources, that sort of thing. There's a crafting system. There's relational systems. Like every single character has stats that you can build them up. And as you advance, you're able to build this. I mean, essentially build this economy that's working all together. But there's still like a RPG sort of system where you're continuing to go on these quests and to explore and to kind of like get to know the world around you better as you there's a little bit of a storyline that you're kind of unraveling as you kind of go along, but it's very you have to kind of pick up what's happening as you go. There's not here's the exposition, ta-da! It's you kind of have to learn what in the world happened here. There's a little bit of knowledge that you come in with, but you kind of gain on knowledge of what happened in the world around you as you like I said, as you build your base and as you're gathering companions or followers who will assist
30
you
seconds
with doing things. But it can be pretty expansive and pretty extensive. But it's also the kind of thing that you can just pick up and play for 20 minutes or 30 minutes, or you can walk away and then come back 3 weeks later, and it's pretty easy to know exactly what was going on because your followers who are building things, they're still there. The quests, they're already there waiting for you, and it's pretty easy to understand. But it's a fun little RPG to just jump right into.
Time. I too know what this game is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
At
first I was thinking it started at Age of Empires, then I was like, oh, total. It's okay, G. Of Fallout 4. I'm like, no, they don't have stats, and I don't know what this is.
I've played probably 25 to 30 hours of this game.
Oh wow.
Interesting.
Not recently, when it first launched. I played that much when it first launched.
You threw me off for a second there. I was like, wait, is this a really weird way to describe Fortnite? And I'm being tricked here.
Yeah.
I played way more hours of Fortnite than that.
I definitely have a massive love for. It's funny. I get super intimidated by city builders, but I love building relations and stuff. I'd never actually played with the wars and stuff in Total War, but I was always about political intrigue of marrying people off and getting alliances and stuff like that.
Oh, you really like this game, Steven.
So yeah, I really like that stuff, but I don't like it to be. I like it to be just a little lighter. It's just so that I can still play a video game and then jump into menus and stuff. I was playing Port Royal. It was a free game on Xbox Gold or something, and I was like, this is just menus, and I don't feel like I'm playing a video game. I like it just to be a little bit more video game than. But yeah, definitely intrigued. I think I'd check this out on a sale because, as I said, I'm halfway between on these sort of styles of games.
Yeah, to me, it sounds like a lot of the things I like. I'm probably in. I don't know what it is. I thought it was Valheim at one point. I thought maybe it was Stardew Valley that you were describing. I thought maybe it was that new one that looks like Stardew Valley, Sunhaven or whatever.
Sunhaven, yeah.
I have no idea what it is. I'm in.
I'll
give it a good 10 hours at least.
I'm in. I'd like to download this on my phone again.
On phone.
You are in for the free phone game Fallout Shelter.
Oh.
I forgot my two big selling points, which I'm totally meant to say this. It's free and there's sex.
I didn't realize that I can't even remember that everyone had stats.
Yeah, they do.
It's
not in-depth stats. You just see the special meter or the special, and then based on how well their stats are on that special.
And you can train everybody up. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
They dropped it really early on the Switch. I remember when the Switch came out, they put a port of it on there, and I played it a fair bit. Yeah.
It's nice because it's got cross save too, so you can go from your phone to your Switch to your PC to your Xbox to your PS5, whatever.
That's awesome.
It's really cool.
Yep, it's really.
That's rad. I wish they gave us more weird Fallout stuff.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Well,
That's
I
like-
mean, they gave us Fallout 76, but that was bad weird.
It's funny because that Fallout shelter is 100% the type of game that I like, but I prefer. There's this small game company, and it's a game that I pitched before that Home Run High, and they make a whole bunch of games. It's like Dungeon Village, and it's like startup company, or
They have a boxing one now.
Yeah, Hot Springs, or they have everything, but they're just like. There's just enough gameplay to keep you enticed, but it's mostly like a little bit of city management and like player management, and they are good games to just dip into. So no, I do like that sort of stuff.
And
I think they're part of that whole that podcast game, cozy game kind of space too. You don't have to pay attention to the game. You can turn the volume all the way down. Just put on whatever you want on your second screen. You're good.
Yeah. One thing that was kind of hilarious. I'm pretty sure I said, the best things about these games. So I first played Dungeon Village, and then I played the baseball one, which is awesome. But I was like, you could beat it in like 15 hours. I put like 50 hours into it before I got credits.
We'll give a quick shout out to the Draft Punks because that's why you picked this game up, right, Dan?
Yeah, that's why I came back to it.
Their Survivor thing that they've got going on.
Yepper.
That's rad.
Well, those were our pitches this week, and we'll move on to the game. I'll hand things over to Mr. Steven.
All right, welcome back, everybody, and it's time for the game. And today we are playing Where in the World Is. Everyone knows Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego, and that's exactly what we're playing, but we're doing it with video games and video game characters. So all you need to do is shout out where in the world is a particular video game set, or where in the world is a particular video game character from. So I'm just going to go through the list. Everyone can answer, and we'll tally up the points at the end. So without further ado, where in the world is Oblivion from Elder Scrolls 4? Starting with a hard one.
Jonah, wouldn't it be
Cyrodiil?
Oblivion?
Oh. Wait. Do we have to save our name? Sorry.
I'm gonna say South Skyrim.
Surprisingly correct, but yes, Dan is 100% correct with Cyrodiil.
Sorry, are we supposed to say our name first?
I don't care.
Okay.
I don't worry about rules like that.
All right. If you got an answer, just shout out your name. We'll just do that.
Everyone can answer. Everyone gets to answer because there's going to be ones where everyone gets it wrong. So yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Sure.
All right. So I won't try to talk over people.
All right.
No, we don't have to. It's all good. Okay. Where in the world are the Brutals from? Super Mario Odyssey. The Brutals.
Ooh.
Oh.
Fun fact. Did y'all know I never beat Super Mario Odyssey?
Do you go to their world in Super Mario Odyssey? Huh. I don't remember. Well, the only thing that's coming to mind is New Donk City, but I know that's incorrect.
I have no idea.
Do you want answers or passes?
I got a pass, dude. I don't even know the name of. I couldn't name more than 2 worlds in Super Mario Odyssey.
Well, rabbits are famously from the moon.
Oh, obviously.
Oh,
yeah,
it's like lizards.
The Brutals are from the dark side of the moon.
Well, there you go.
All right. Now, Jonah has no excuse not to get this one. Where in the world is Alan Wake?
Oh,
Mateo, Massachusetts.
All right. Dan?
Portland.
It's close.
And...
So it's pretty vague. It's they kind of just say we're going out to the Pacific Northwest, but I believe it's specifically in Washington, is it not?
Bright Falls, Washington. Yeah. So yes.
Bright Falls, Washington.
That gets you a point.
I
I've
was
got a
thinking-
couple with extras, so it's like you could get 2 points if you could like name both sort of things.
Oh,
so
okay.
yeah, Washington.
See, I
Yeah.
was thinking he's almost like a Stephen King analog, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
Stephen
yeah,
King
he
is
is,
famously in like
100%.
that whole like
Yeah.
Massachusetts, Pennsylvania area.
Well, he quotes Stephen King like all the time.
Oh, yeah, he
At the start
does.
of That movie. Like, yeah. All right, this one is interesting because I didn't know this because I didn't really think about the setting. Where in the world is Twisted Metal?
Oh, that is.
Dude, the United States.
It's vague, but it's
I mean-
ballpark. Maybe we could get like a 0.25 of a point for that.
I have no idea. I only played those games when I was a wee lad, so I'm gonna have to pass on this one.
I'm gonna have to pass. I do not recall it.
I've got an answer.
So-
Murderville, USA.
If I had to narrow it down, I would say Detroit, just because that's the Motor City.
Sounds great.
Maybe that's where they're at.
I mean,
City, yes, that works. All right, just say one random city then, Dan. Come on.
Chicago.
Los
I
Angeles.
almost said Los
Really?
Angeles.
That's
Yeah.
where everything's from, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, who would know that unless you like actually read like the booklets and stuff? Sweet. So not many points on the board yet. Sorry, I made this way too hard. Obviously. Where in the world is Link's Awakening?
Oof.
Oh.
Oh, that's a trick one.
Yes, it is a trick one. Because it's not the main place.
Hmm.
So it's not Hyrule.
Yeah, I'm a pass.
Dan, you got an answer?
No, I mean I know Hyrule. That's it.
Same.
I believe it's like Windfish Island or something, but it's also just Link's Dream.
I was about to say, like, I'd almost give you a half a point for Link's Dream because it's Koholint Island.
Oh, okay.
And yes, I'm sure Caden's very upset that no one's getting all these.
That's actually like that's the one Zelda game I have not actually like had hands on with.
Yeah.
Even though it's like
the remake's not bad. It's a bit easy, but it's fun. Well, I've definitely I've just messed this up. There will be some hopefully easier ones. Where in the world? Where in the world are the Halo's elites from?
where what world is the Halo Elite from?
Yeah.
Uh
If I told you their name, that would give away where they're from.
Oh, really?
It's literally the name of the planet. Yeah.
I'm just gonna say outer space. I mean, I could say they're on the Halo in Halo 1. Technically
true.
right.
Where are they from? Oh, I'm afraid I'm gonna have to pass.
All right.
Other than like the Halo, yeah.
There's gonna be there will be a nice softball for the next one. We'll
Okay.
see. What, Mateo, giving up?
Yeah, Covenantopia.
Covenantopia. the Halo elites are called the Sangali.
Oh
From
yeah.
Sangalios.
Oh,
You could have said where are the Sangali from, and I would have been like, what is
Yeah.
that?
Who?
We would have been debating what game is this that we're talking about.
All right.
Joey
Yeah, there is-
Cisco is rolling around on the ground screaming right now.
There is a definitive answer for this, and it's because of what's in there, and I will explain it. Where in the world is Tetris?
What? I'm just gonna.
It's set in our world.
I'm just gonna say Russia
It's set in our world.
or Moscow.
I'll go Tokyo.
I think it is Moscow, right? Like it's got to be. Isn't the
It's Russia. It has because the space shuttle that you are launching is a Buran space shuttle, which is only a Russian space shuttle. And yes, obviously it was made in Russia, but yeah, they use a specific Russian space shuttle. So yeah.
Interesting.
So I don't understand the lore of Tetris. Are we putting like the space shuttles together, or are we putting like, you know?
I don't know. We'll have to find out.
Shuttle?
We'll have to find out when that movie comes out.
I didn't know there was a story, so there you go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've definitely.
I know they're called Tetrinos, and I swear that I saw a box art one time that showed little people piloting the Tetrinos on like the cover art for
wow.
Tetris.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that a point each? What is that one?
Yeah, I think that's a point each.
There's 2 points there.
Okay.
This one's going to be impossible but there's 2 answers. So if you just say 2 random places in the world, you've got a chance because you've got 2 chances of getting it. Where in the world is M. Bison from?
M. Bison.
Who is that again?
Street
I'm
Fighter
like,
bad guy.
Who's
Oh.
that? Brooklyn.
It's from Brooklyn.
Or
There we go.
but there's 2 answers, right? So I can guess 2.
There's two possible answers. I would accept.
All right.
He's a dictator and he has his own country, but I don't remember what the name of that country is, right?
Yeah. Well, I'll just say Cuba or something. I don't know.
It's not bad because like the actor was the actor that played him.
Raul. I don't remember what ethnicity he is specifically. I know that he's Latinx, but I don't know which one specifically.
Yeah. It is weirdly enough Thailand, and then in brackets I had Ireland as semi-acceptable because he was abandoned by his Irish missionary parents. But like it was a complete mystery for a long time, but in some lore it came out that it was Thailand.
Interesting.
Okay, this one slightly easy. Let's get some points on the. Come on, it's a nice easy one. Where in the world is Eddie Gordo?
Mateo, Brazil.
Tekken.
Oh,
Brazil.
Okay.
I'm like so lost.
Yeah.
You're-
I don't
free to
play
follow,
fighting.
too.
I don't play fighting games, man. Sure.
Eddie Gordo famously wears yellow and green.
Okay. Sure, Brazil.
Sure, Brazil.
it's Brazil. Hey.
Wow.
Where in the world is Crash Bandicoot?
Mateo, Australia.
You sound so confident.
I'm gonna say Tasmania.
New Zealand. Sure.
Cover the whole
Wildly
area.
Yes, Mateo is correct. It's Australia.
Okay.
Tasmania is a part of Australia.
Oh, I don't know.
We'll do a half point for that one.
That's funny. Okay, now this is another one that has dual citizenship. Where in the world, and if you don't get one part of the citizenship, like I don't know what I can tell you about video games. Leave. Where in the world is Persona 5's Ann Takamaki from?
Oh.
I'm
Oh.
Japan.
No, she's American.
But if she's got a dual citizenship, then
I mean, she could be from Japan as well, I suppose, but she's an American. I don't remember where in the U.S. though. I think.
So you're saying U.S.
Yeah, I'm saying U.S.
Mateo?
and then dual citizenship Japan, I guess.
Japan. Okay, so at least 1 point there. Yeah.
I do Japan and Los Angeles.
And do you want to have a random guess at the second point, Jonah?
we'll say New York.
Finland.
Oh.
What?
Yes.
Oh.
Japanese Finnish. Yeah, Arn is actually a Finnish name. Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay, I missed that. Anyway,
Nice.
I was so sure.
Now this one, seeing as I've done, all of these are way too hard, but we'll go with it anyway. So once again, let's just say I'll let you even go with continent on this one because I never realized that every single Mortal Kombat character is from the real world.
Oh yeah,
well.
yeah.
I never knew that. I just thought most of them lived in Outworld, Netherrealm, and all that. Yeah. But no, they all came originally from our world. So, where in the world is Cyrax?
You couldn't have picked an easy one.
I know. It doesn't give you anything. I said Jax, obviously.
Oh, jeez.
Say a continent. You got seven to go.
Iraq. I'll go Europe.
I'll say Asia.
Say Oceania.
It is Africa. He's from South Africa.
I almost said Africa.
Because, he is very obviously a South African robot, as everyone knows.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're asking fighting game questions to a bunch of people who don't play fighting games.
Yeah. Alright, this is a whole wash. I'm sorry. I'm gonna try and make this easy if possible to make this game easy because it's fun. But
geography is also not my strong suit.
Man, should I ask that question? Because I don't even know where that's. No, I can't because I don't know where it's from. Where in the world is Chrono from? In Chrono Trigger.
Oh no.
Yeah. Fantasyland 10.
It's
pretty close.
something village. What the hell is the name of the village though?
Just name it.
I'm pass. Triggerton. I don't know.
Triggerton.
It's like Elos or something. I don't know.
The Kingdom of Guardia.
Oh.
That's what I had. That's the answer.
Yeah.
Okay, this is one. I don't know, man. Like I said, impossible questions. Where in the world is Deckard Cain from Diablo?
I just looked this up.
It's the main. I've done it as the main town.
Yeah. Why can't I think of that?
Yeah. Like, you're asking about games that I just don't play, man. Oh man.
I can't remember the name of it.
I'm sorry to everyone that's just like listening to this and screaming at their sound system, headphones.
To any video game geographers out there, I hope you're. It is Tristram.
Yes, I knew it.
Alright,
as soon as you said it.
Alright, let's make this the last one.
Freebie to end. Where in the world is Carl C.J. Johnson?
I know this one. This is easy. No, nothing.
This is what I was about to.
Los Santos.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Los Santos, San Andreas.
Los Santos.
I'm gonna turn in my gamer card after this.
Yeah, me too, man. Jeez.
I'm like, who?
Let's count up those measly 4 points or whatever we got to.
So, funny enough, I decided to make 4 squares on my scoreboard here. So actually, the winner today is Steven with 7.5 points. I gave him a point for every time he stumped us.
Oh, nice. Man. Steven's gonna win every game now.
I thought I was onto a winner here, but I clicked.
No, dude, I love the idea.
I think it's a good concept for sure.
It's a very good concept.
Is solid, but maybe we need to be a little bit more broad.
I guess.
Okay, maybe not obscure fighter, but where's this fighter from that you maybe never heard of? I don't know.
True.
I guess we all proved today that we're all just fake gamers, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, clearly.
I'm gonna go
Clearly.
take some more gamer geography classes, or just
Second place,
geography in general, I guess. I've never
second
been good
place
at it.
was second place was Jonah with 6 points, by the way.
What?
Whoa!
Really? Wow. Okay.
There you go.
I guess I knew some stuff. All right. Well, that has been the Great Game Debate podcast. We'll go into our closing thoughts. Mr. Dan, as our guest, you got anything that you would like to plug or where people can find you?
Not really. I'm kind of not doing much on social media, and I really don't sell anything. So, maybe Sunday evening, stop by. I think it's the Brothers Pearson who are streaming the D&D sessions. Stop by and say hello and make Hunter create a limerick on the spot. That's kind of fun. Use your I think it's
Brother Bucks.
Brother Bucks.
Brother
Oh,
Bucks.
they got away from Brian Brother.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, the Brother
you
Bucks.
can spend enough to get or no. If you sub, you can get a Brian Butter emote specifically to
There you go.
Nice.
to their channel.
There you go. So yeah, come watch D&D on Sunday evenings, and it isn't every single Sunday evening, but it's most Sunday evenings. And try Fallout Filter. It's actually a lot of fun and pretty easy to pick up and go, and it's free.
Heck yeah.
Hell yeah.
Mateo, what's going on, man?
I don't have anything to pitch except apparently Steve and I are just completely in sync lately. We are just simpatico because we're both at the exact same spot in Resident Evil 2 remake somehow.
That's awesome.
So, just working my way through. I need to I need to catch up to the Resident Evil 4. So I've got 2 games to go through basically.
3's super quick. You can get through 3 and easily get through it in 8 to 10 hours. So it's just a few play sessions. Steve-O,
Sweet.
What you got going on? What you want to plug?
I want to plug hydration because as someone that's over 30 and thought that I could still party with the boys at an all-day festival, I realized that no, I cannot. So pace yourself. Yeah, is definitely a big one.
You there listening right now? Drink some water.
Yeah.
Please drink some water.
All right. And I guess I get to do the housekeeping. We have come to the point where Resident Evil 4 Remake has gone out to the public to play games and enjoy it. And you know what? I put a little bit of time into it already. It is so freaking good. It is so good. We are recording this episode a little bit early, so I'm probably a lot farther in as this has launched, but I would love to see everyone's beautiful face for our Resident Evil 4 Remake game club that we'll be doing. Dates will get posted. We have not set a date yet, just because the game had just come out. But you can join us for the Resident Evil 4 game club. And Mateo and I going to PAX. I'm just gonna say it every episode because I'm so freaking stoked. Mateo and I are going to PAX.
I think we're up to 7 people confirmed so far. We need 1 more, and then it's set in stone.
Yes, sir.
Basically.
Nice.
Yeah. So we've got a lot of people. We're gonna be staying there, grilling, having a good time, and then we'll be doing meet and greet stuff at the show floor for any of the fans or friends. We're just gonna be hanging out, having a good time, checking out some sweet video games, talking about some sweet video games, hopefully getting some cool indie devs to network with so we can get them on the show and stuff. So yeah,
100%.
I have been your guest host, Jonah Gomez. This has been the Great Game Debate podcast, and as always, happy gaming. Bye.
As always, a big thank you to our friend Misdriven for the music in our podcast. If you like what you hear and you want to check out more of what they have, you can pay them a visit on Twitter at MIST_RIVEN719 or on Bandcamp at Misdriven. Thanks again for tuning in. Till next time.